Well, folks, while all the other candidates are distracted with various legal issues or, just being on the beach in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, one candidate is still talking about issues people care about. Believe it or not, it's RFK Jr. RFK Jr. so far has run a pretty smart race, honestly. Like, he's going to alternative media. He is saying things that nobody else will say, not just about the vaccines. There's been, of course, all sorts of coverage of his vaccine comments and what he says about COVID and all the rest. But RFK Jr. has taken pretty heterodox positions on a wide variety of issues. And he's been going after Joe Biden on inflation. Now, let's be real about this. The vast majority of Americans care much more about their pocketbooks and about the fact they're paying hundreds of dollars more per month, every month now, thanks to Joe Biden, than they do about any of the legal foibles that are currently taking place in Fulton County. Trump isn't talking about that stuff because he can't. How could he? You understand it. I mean, he's being indicted. Every county in the United States apparently going to bring an indictment against Trump. But meanwhile, RFK Jr. is going after Biden on inflation, which is what normal candidates would be doing these days.
So there's no money for poor Americans. And the people that I see are living because of the inflation and because of what's happening with this desperation. The average wage in this country is now $5,000 less than the cost of basic goods, of food, transportation, and housing. So half of Americans are making up that gap by putting it on their credit card bills. And this week, we passed $1.1 trillion in credit card debt. That's the first time in history. Most of that, or $330 billion of that, has been in the Biden and Trump administration. Two men who are saying, I'm helping America. There's $1 trillion in credit card debt, and those people are paying 22% interest. If the mafia did that, it would be called loan sharking.
He is totally right about this. But what's more important is he's talking about an issue that, when's the last time you heard a candidate talk about inflation? Joe Biden isn't going to talk about it because he's doing it. But Donald Trump isn't talking about it because he's busy. And Ron DeSantis hasn't really been talking about it. Or if he has, it's been obscured by the fact that Donald Trump has been indicted. So the entire conversation for the two main parties is not about the thing that most Americans care about, which means there actually is a lane, not for RFK Jr. to become president, but for RFK Jr. to take away a pretty significant percentage of the vote. A solid third-party candidate right now could easily take 10% of the vote. I don't think a third-party candidate could win. I don't think you're going to see a third-party candidate take 30% of the vote. But could you see a third-party candidate draw like 3% of Republicans, 3% of Democrats, and 4% in the middle? I don't see why not. And then this election really is up in the air, despite everything else that is going on. Again, RFK is the only person who's talking about issues right now that I think most Americans are concerned about. I think they should be concerned about the weaponization of the justice system, but I also think that Donald Trump is the most politicized figure of our lifetime, bar none. So most Americans, again, and I think rightly, are concerned more about how they put dinner on the table than they are concerned about Fani Willis and the details of the RICO Act. Okay, in just 1 second, we'll get to the fact that credit card delinquencies are jumping. First, let's talk about the fact that as the economy begins to waver, as the Chinese economy prepares to go down, central banks in countries like China, India, and Australia are transitioning to digital currency, and the Federal Reserve is contemplating the same for the United States. With a digital currency, the government can track every single purchase you make. Officials could even prohibit you from purchasing certain products or easily freeze or seize part or all of your money. These are some of the reasons concerned Americans reach out to Birch Gold. They want to have a physical asset like gold that's independent of the American dollar. You can protect your IRA or 401k by diversifying with gold from Birch Gold. Historically, gold has been a safe haven in times of high uncertainty, which is like right now. Learn if gold is right for you as well. Text BEN to 989898. They'll send you a free info kit on gold with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, countless 5-star reviews. I trust Birch Gold to help you diversify into gold. If a central bank digital currency becomes a reality, well, at that point, you'll be happy that you diversified into, an asset that has never been worth zero and is not subject to government manipulation. Again, text BEN to 989898 to get started with my friends over at Birch Gold to ask all your questions, and then see if you're interested in investing with my friends at Birch Gold. Are you tired of feeling uncomfortable in your underwear and loungewear, especially during those scorching summer months? Thanks to my friends over at Tommy John, you can have the perfect blend of comfort and breathability. When you wear Tommy John, you're so much more comfortable that you can do everything better. Their underwear has dozens of comfort innovations, like breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands that can keep you 7 degrees cooler than cotton. Tommy John also sells loungewear with a level of softness that honestly cannot be paralleled. Their incredibly soft loungewear is designed to envelop you in a world of pure luxury. It's incredibly durable. You can throw it in the wash like 1,000 times, and it comes out better than ever. It's breathable. It's lightweight. I threw out all my other underwear. I only wear Tommy John's. Every purchase is backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. Shop Tommy John's at Summer Collection. Get 20% off your first purchase at TommyJohn.com/Ben. That's 20% off at TommyJohn.com/Ben. Tommy John, TommyJohn.com/Ben. By the way, they also make fantastic stuff for ladies. My wife also loves wearing Tommy John. Tommy John makes great underwear. They make great loungewear. As I say, super comfortable. They have a bunch of innovations that make it the best underwear on the market. Go check them out right now. TommyJohn.com/Ben for 20% off. Credit card delinquencies have begun to jump. According to Axios, more Americans are falling behind on their credit card payments. So get ready, folks. What goes up must come down. Simple, basic rules of life. The rate of new credit card delinquencies has surpassed its pre-COVID level, clocking in at 7.2% in the second quarter per report out this month from the New York Fed. Auto loan delinquencies were at 7.3% in Q2, also higher than pre-pandemic levels. Mortgage delinquencies remain low at this point, but that's largely because mortgages were put off for a couple of years, so people saved some money on that one. Even as inflation declines, Americans are increasingly relying on credit cards to make their budget work. Again, we are going to see the effects of easy money petering out pretty quickly here. And it's going to be a problem. That's going to be exacerbated by China's economy, which is actually in really bad shape, but they're hiding it by lying about the stats. According to the Wall Street Journal, China's authorities responded to another burst of dire news on the economy with a well-honed playbook. They cut interest rates and withheld some potentially embarrassing economic data. The trouble, say investors and economists, is that lower borrowing costs and greater opacity aren't what China needs to reignite growth and restore vanishing confidence in their economy. China's economy is staggering under an array of challenges, including a drawn-out real estate crunch, worsening relations with the U.S.-led West, and difficulties in nurturing a consumer-led expansion while the usual growth engines of investments and exports misfire. Well, if China's economy goes down, we are fairly well intertwined with them. You're going to see the price of goods go up again. You're going to see the supply of goods go down again. This is going to be a bit of a problem for consumers who are already getting smacked by inflation. As those costs go up, some bills are going to go unpaid. When those bills go unpaid, then some debts are going to go bad. When the debts go bad, that could lead to things like foreclosures. It leads to job loss. It leads to serious economic problems. So Joe Biden's been whistling past the graveyard on the economy for quite a while. I'm not sure that that's going to last all that much longer. Meanwhile, in Hunter Biden news, the lawyer representing Hunter Biden in plea negotiations to end a 5-year DOJ investigation into tax and gun offenses stepped down early on Tuesday, saying he intends to testify as a witness on behalf of the president's son. The decision by the lawyer, Christopher Clark, is the latest development in the long-running negotiation between the DOJ and Biden. The department has said a substantial part of the plea agreement no longer stands, and they've suggested in court documents they could indict Biden. Clark is now contending that Biden will need him as a witness to prove the department is seeking to back out of a legally binding deal. So he's stepping down so he can be a witness and say that Joe Biden's DOJ lied. Now, again, to review briefly, Joe Biden's DOJ cut a sweetheart deal with Hunter Biden's attorney. That sweetheart deal basically wiped away all future charges against Hunter Biden in exchange for a slap on the wrist. A judge found out about it, and then the DOJ lied and said they never cut the deal in the first place. Now, Hunter Biden's lawyer is coming out and he's saying, I may have to testify in court that the deal was already cut. This week, Abby Lowell, a veteran lawyer in Washington who has represented a wide range of clients, according to the New York Times, filed court documents indicating he now represented Hunter Biden in the case. And again, this is just another sign that this case is going south very quickly. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.